video intends to demonstrate the enactive modelling of resources to support children in their understanding of the expanded decomposition strategy for subtraction calculations. First of all, you can see that I have an example calculation written here symbolically on paper. 577 subtract 368. It is also shown symbolically with the place value arrow cards. However, this resource can be used enactively, which enables children to physically separate the numbers into their ones, tens and hundreds. So we can see here that the 577 has been partitioned into 7 ones, 7 tens and 5 hundreds. And the same with the 368, we partitioned into 8 ones, 6 tens and 3 hundreds. This supports children their understanding of the difference between column and quantity value. However, it is still quite an abstract representation. I have also shown this symbolically on paper, and you can see in the hundreds column we have 5 hundreds, tens, 7 tens, and in the ones column we have 7 ones. And the same here, subtract 3 hundreds, 6 tens and 8 ones. Now, to support children with this symbolic representation, we can use the Dean's base 10 resources. So here we can see that we have 5 hundreds, 7 tens and 7 ones, which I'm going to position in the shape of Numicon plates, which supports children in making that link with the visual representation of the Numicon plates that they may have manipulated. So we're going to start from working from the right to the left. So we're going to deal with the ones column first. Now, I can see that I need to subtract 8 from 7. This can't be done, so the first step that children need to understand is that they can exchange one of these tens for 10 ones in this column. So this resource allows children to physically replace one of these tens with the 10 ones in the ones column. Again, in the Numicon pattern to support their understanding, we can remove this 10, and now we have 6 tens in this column and 17 ones because we've exchanged one of the tens for 10 ones. We can show this with the place value arrow cards by replacing the 70 with a 60 and a 10 to show that we have moved 10 ones into this column to make 17 ones. This can be shown on the symbolic representation here by striking through the 70, writing the 60 above that, and showing that we've transferred 10 ones into this column by placing the 1 there to show 17 ones. Now we're able to subtract 8 from the 17 ones like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see quite clearly that we have 9 ones in this column, which we can record below the line with a 9, like so. Now we go to the tens column. As we've exchanged one of the tens out of this column, we now only have 6 tens left. So I can see that I need to subtract 60 from 60, or 6 tens from 6 tens. So all I do is remove all of these 6 tens. And this is the idea of 0 as a placeholder comes into play, because we have nothing here, and we'll also leave this space blank on our symbolic representation. Finally, I can see that I need to subtract 300 from 500s. So again, I simply remove 1, 2, 300 blocks to leave me with 200 blocks in this column. And I'll write that symbolically here under the line to show that we have 200 left. Now the final step for children to carry out is the recombining stage. So again, with the place value arrow cards, I can see that I have 2 hundreds in this column, 9 ones in this column, and children can inactively move the place value arrow cards and position them to create our final answer of 209, clearly showing that 0 is a placeholder. And again, on our symbolic written form here, we would show that by writing 200, add the 9 ones equals our answer of 209. Once children have progressed in their understanding of the difference between quantity and column value, we can progress on to using place value counters. Place value counters draw very much on children's understanding of column value, whereas the Deans were more to do with showing the quantity value. So with this resource, we again start with the 500s, the 710s, and 7 ones, just like before. Okay, and as we did with the Deans, we know that the first step is to exchange one of these 10s because we can't subtract 8 from 7, so we need to exchange 1 10 in this column for 10 ones in this column. So again, like we did with the Deans, we can exchange this for 10 ones in this column. And again, I'm using the Numicon pattern to reinforce the visual image that children associate. Okay, so we can remove that 10 because we've exchanged that. Now we have 17 ones in this column, so we can subtract the 8, like so. And again, we've got that clear representation of 9 ones in this column. Now we go to the 10s, and as before, we've exchanged one of the 10s, so we've only got 6 10s left in this column. So now we need to take 60 away from 60. So we simply remove all 6 of those 10 counters. And we can see we've got that blank space there to represent the 0 as a placeholder. And again, the symbolic representation would be used alongside this. And finally, we go to the hundreds column, and we need to subtract 3 hundreds from 5 hundreds. So we remove 3 of those hundreds counters to leave us with 2 hundreds, 9 ones, no 10s in the middle, and the final stage is to recombine by physically moving those place value arrow cards to produce our final answer of 209. This shows us how we can use this iconic resource in an enactive way so that children can physically manipulate the counters to carry out that exchange process and the subtraction calculations.